Let's go boating! Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from asortofinterestinglife.com, and I cannot believe what I'm about to say, but you really are watching a video to mark the 2-year anniversary since I first bought Tilly. And what a 2 years that has been. I think before we move any further, we'll just cut to a random little picture of me on front of her holding the keys up on that fateful day 2 years ago. And back to me, you'll see that I'm still wearing that t-shirt, a little bit stretched, and I haven't got quite as much hair as I used to. But as I say, what an amazing time it has been. Absolutely by miles the best years of my life. And when I consider that I've been lucky enough to have quite a few good years before the boat, that's saying something. I think as well the fact that the time seems to have flown so quickly sums up how much it has been just a fantastic experience. What I wanted to do was basically take a nice casual look back at my time afloat. Originally I was putting together another short film style video, but then I thought, you know what, there's an awful lot to say, so I've got a couple of different videos looking at different areas, and I am also about to start filming another little short film that I hope you'll enjoy in the next couple of weeks. As I sit out here on the stern, I'm sure you can tell from the background that it is an absolutely beautiful day, and we're out here in the stunning Shropshire countryside as usual. And as well, first of all I'll say excuse the sunglasses in this shot as hay fever is just about to set in, plus it's so bright out here I'd just be squinting at you anyway. But really, this is what I just have tried to base my life around for a long time now. Being able to spend as much time out and about in places like this, biking, walking, recently kayaking, just basically enjoying as much time in the outdoors as possible. And before we get on to that though, I think we should probably take a delve into the depths of time and revisit some early footage of a younger Dan Brown terrified to take the tiller for the first time, and then get back to this amazing day we're currently enjoying. Here you can see that very young, inexperienced Dan Brown trying to figure out first of all exactly how the throttle worked, and not really going very far judging by the boat compared to the towpath. But this was the first trip ever on Tilly, just taking it about 10 minutes up the canal from where it was moored when I bought her to the marina at Great Haywood. And as you can see, there's a lot of general nervous holding on to things, and me looking as uncomfortable and awkward as, well, I still do these days, I suppose. Even though the trip was only 10 minutes, I hate to say it, but we did actually stop and have a little break and try mooring up with pins for the first time ever. You can see we're just entering Great Haywood Marina here. And the terrifying thing to look back on now is that the next trip that I did after that 10-minute one was literally 96 miles with 60 locks in it to get back to Ellesmere. And you can see here the first swans as seen travelling on board, and just generally getting used to the wildlife that you see on the canal. But during that time there were some incredible moments. I mean, the whole experience is probably the best 2 weeks of my life. But mingled into that were some of the lowest low points that I've ever experienced, when things were just overwhelming in every sense, sometimes good, but very often bad when the engine started to overheat and all sorts of chaos was going on. And it was that true baptism of fire of going from, well, you've spent a day on a boat about a year ago, to now you've just bought a boat and you are living on it as, well, effective immediately. And that was the real thing of, hang on, this is actually happening. And once I got back into the Ellesmere area and didn't have to worry about travelling 100 miles and doing 60 locks, I started to be able to settle down and do the decorating and generally start to shift my life into, well, this is just my normal life now, so I've got to figure out exactly how I want to live and what I want to be part of my daily routine. You're currently witnessing one of the very first times that I met the geese from around the Chirkbank area, and to this day they are still there. Once upon a time they actually got shipped off in a lorry and taken away somewhere, but soon found their way back. So they are the local nuisance neighbours, but what a great thing to have. Anyway, the thing that I think is most telling about how rough and how exhausting in every sense that the original trip back home was is how tired and quiet and beat down I sound on the footage that I recorded on the last couple of days, such as this. Well then folks, if there's been any doubts as to whether or not I am home over the last few days, there's the tunnel through to Ellesmere. Man, I almost don't want to go through it. Oh well, I will see you on the other side. How painfully beat down sounding and slow was I talking at that point. Anyway, once I'd had my time to settle down and rest and recuperate, it was moments like this where I'd wake up and open the curtains in the morning and literally have herons at the side of the boat, at the back of the boat, and just having those moments of thinking, you know what, this is actually just day-to-day life. This is the sort of experience that is just a part of what I'm doing. And that's what I've never quite been able to settle myself down to, is that I go about my normal life. Sometimes, like today, I'm filming and recording and editing videos, or writing books, or just generally doing the washing up. And yet, you randomly have things like this thrown in at you. And that's the absolute core of what I love about boat life. And in fact, I've got another early clip here of when I was starting to get the decorating done on Tilly. And to consider that what you're about to see is me painting my front doors, this is literally how good a simple experience like that can be. So then, just doing a bit of painting in the evening. Hopefully everything's going to be coming up roses. As you can see, it's an absolute tip because of the painting. But, I mean, just look at this. Is that not one of the most amazing sights to have out your front door? Again, you can tell that's an early piece of footage because I was speaking so quietly so that nobody else on the canal could hear me talk. But the basic principle is, I'm out painting and this is where I am. And that's the sort of thing that I just can't get enough of even to this day. Likewise, I woke up early one morning. This is 5:02, just after I'd got back to Ellesmere. And this is the sight out of the back door. You've got the misty canal, you've got the moon, Jupiter and Venus up in the sky. And it's just that incredible experience once again of getting used to this just becoming daily life. Is this not the coolest thing ever? When it comes to the general experience of day-to-day life being enhanced by being out in the middle of nowhere on a boat, there's no better example than today really, where we can pan the camera around like this and see just where Tilly's nestled away, where you saw me on the stern just a moment ago. I've moved just around the corner so I'm easier to meet up with a couple of friends in about an hour's time as I record this. But out here you've got all of the general countryside stuff. See quite a few sparrowhawks, but obviously the usual like buzzards absolutely everywhere. But beyond that you've got the general farm life, such as your cows leaning over having a drink. You've got ducks obviously all over the canal, and I'm sure you've seen footage in my other videos of the ducklings in their dozens going past. And then after moving the boat around the corner, we literally moored up and straight away there was a cow just opposite the window of the kitchen again, just having a drink. And this is what I mean really when I say about the unpredictable things and just how simple things and going about your normal daily life, doing the washing up, and you've got that through the window to basically enhance every aspect of your life with this incredible scenery and these incredible random chance encounters with wildlife. As we have a look at a few photos from my time aboard, I'll just say a brief word on some of the tougher times, which I'm extremely lucky and very pleased to say that I haven't really had any genuine serious problems and any serious hardships. When I first bought Tilly, some of you may know that she had a pretty serious overheating problem and all sorts was going on the original trip back home. The first time that I ever started the engine and went to travel on my own, it took about 5 minutes for one of the pipes to pop off the engine and steam to all pour up through all the gaps in the deck below me feet. So that was a terrifying and, well, I don't know, a terrifying moment to say the least. But I think once I'd got back, and now knowing what I know now about just relax and take things slowly, and basically I'm just settled into boat life. It's one of them things where when I look back, I never really have had any serious problems, but because I was so stressed and didn't know anything about boats or boating or anything that would be useful for life on a boat, basically, that seemed to make any of the small problems that I did have into these huge events. And now looking back 2 years on, it's amazing that I've managed to be so lucky and get away with a pretty even and uneventful time afloat so far. I've been stuck in a couple of locks, that's very true, but again, even now that's happened more recently. I've been completely calm and managed to be like, right, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I forgot to lift up the fenders. Right, calm down, make sure there's no water flowing, let's yank this fender up and free ourselves. So yeah, all in all, I'm very happy and very lucky to be able to say that it has been such a fantastic, almost entirely spot-on, perfect time afloat. When it comes to the people that I've met while I've been on board for the last 2 years, I'm sure you can imagine, it would be impossible for me to try and go through a list of all of the people. And I mean, you've got all of the boats going past, you've got people down the towpath who stop and talk, you've got the people who are in marinas, people who work on the canals, obviously you've got the people who live in the houses by the canal. It's just incredible. And when you add into that all sorts of different things, such as the people that you'll meet at the bus stop on areas by a canal who obviously don't recognise you as a local, it's just incredible. So obviously it's been fantastic, and the amount of knowledge and general experience that you can gain from speaking to other people. I mean, when I consider that there's people who have been living on boats for longer than I've been on the planet, there's obviously an awful lot of knowledge and insight to gain from that. And it's been incredible to have some little tips and helping hands from people along the way, and hopefully I've been able to put a little bit back in. It's something that I've spoken about in my latest book, A Narrowboat and a Notebook, shameless plug, where I talk about when I'm out helping at locks and things like that, especially down on the Montgomery Canal, where I might moor up near to a lock and then just spend the day going out over dinner time, and as a few boats come down, take me windlass up and crank the handle. And even just that, it's a great way to get to know people and see where people are going on their travels, especially over the summer. And I don't know if you can see through the window just there, we've got a boat going past even as I speak. And yeah, it has been incredible. But of course, in recent times, I'm sure that you can imagine the YouTube effect has been beyond belief. Now, as I'm sure you're familiar if you're watching my videos, I can't believe how it has taken off in recent times. And if you say that we're now getting over 100,000 views a month, every month, by a good margin, it's just unbelievable. And the amount of people who now come past on holiday boats or walk past on the towpath and know Tilly and shout, "Oh Dan!" It's just incredible. A lot of you will know that I have my friend Mike who comes out on the boat quite a lot, and it has literally now been about two and a half months since he was last on the boat, and we did a trip where somebody didn't come past or meet us on the canal and go, "Oh, I've read your books," or "Oh, I watch your videos on YouTube." And that is just incredible. And it's always something that's fascinating when it happens in front of one of my family members or something like that, because they seem to find it particularly amusing. So I'll say thank you very much to everybody out there. Anyway, enough of me wittering away on camera for a while. Let's flip the camera around for a change on one of these boat trips and actually see me just working the tiller. As you can see, it's pretty laid back and exactly what you would imagine, especially on a wonderful sunny day. This was earlier on today, just going around the corner to meet me friends. And this was earlier when it wasn't quite the roasting weather we were having. But as you can see, it's just generally a case of travelling as slow as anything, there's no rush. And as I've said, over time, especially after I had the engine problems to start with, I've basically just thought, you know what, there's no rush at all, there's no need to hurry things. I'm going to just enjoy boating and heading down the canal for what it is, a fantastic way to spend an hour, a full day, 20 minutes, basically any amount of time. If you've got a nice dry day, I think it's fantastic. And over the winter in particular, I really enjoy it because you have the sort of almost guarantee in some cases that you'll be the only boat moving around along the Llangollen Canal where I have my winter mooring. And that's the sort of thing that to me is the perfect thing to be like, oh, my friend's coming around, yeah, I think we might go around the corner and back and just do these little 20-minute, 40-minute, maybe even an hour-long boat trips, just up and down to the same place, just to really enjoy the canal and actual boating experience. It's about time that we wrap things up, so I'll say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at my 2 years on board and general thoughts and feelings about my time afloat, and I suppose really just reminiscing and talking about boats. It's what I do. So, thanks for watching, check out my other videos and please subscribe because I have already got, well, we're getting towards 200 narrowboat videos and that is literally everything from proper tutorials about going through locks on your own to just sticking a camera on board and having a nice little trip down the canal while I witter away about boaty things in general. I've got loads of outdoorsy stuff too, kayaking, walking, biking, camping, going up mountains. You get the general idea. Subscribe and check out my videos because there's a lot going on there. Of course, feel free to add me personally on Facebook and Twitter as well for all sorts of general photos and boaty updates from life on the canal. Like the Facebook page too, and the important one, check out my books for the Kindle. The Narrowboat Lad Living the Dream, and the latest one that people seem to be enjoying the most at the moment, A Narrowboat and a Notebook. Check those out, help me out, spread the word, do all that sort of stuff, but more importantly, have a fantastic day. I hope you get some of this amazing weather, and as there's a boat about to come past, I'll say thanks for watching, keep it boat worthy, and I suppose really, I hope to see you around soon. Farewell.